battle for Middle-earth is about to begin.
So it begins.
Send these foul beasts into the abyss! It's my power. The great battle of our time.
So it's the morning of day 2 here at Arda Unleashed at the Grand Tournament, and we've got some pretty epic matchups today. Lots of players still in contention. Our top 8 very much still have a chance at getting up into those top 2 positions to make it through to the championship round. We've got 4 players currently undefeated at the moment, and our top 2, Ori and Pat, have like an amazing amount of VP. So they're in a pretty good position, but the number 7s, number 8s, with a couple of great wins and some bad luck at the top, they could make it too. So it is very tight. Our first couple of matchups this round in round 5 on our top 2 tables see all of our undefeated players going against each other. We've got Pat Matriga and Ori facing off Dolamroth versus Rivendell Knights and Slay. That should be fantastic to watch. And of course, table 2 with players 3 and 4 is Jacob Lucas from Victoria. His fantastic Belrog, Moria, Horde, and the Army of the Dead, and Strider for Daniel Jones. So some epic matchups on our top 2 tables, which should really shape up. And after this, we'll start to get a really good idea as who is going to be making it into our championship round. But still lots to play for all of our top pool and all of our players on these epic boards that we've got here this morning. So we're going to jump into setting up the first round and get the games underway. Welcome to day 2 of let's start that again. Welcome to day 4 of Arda Unleashed and the second day of the Grand Tournament. We are reaching the pointy end of a pretty epic 4-day journey. We've got some pretty epic competitive matchups today. As you guys can see on the leaderboard, the GT is very finely balanced, still lots of players in the mix. Technically, it's possible for even the top 8 to 10 to make it through to the championship round, depending on how the results go. So there's a lot to play for, and we've got some really epic matchups in the first couple of rounds. The gloves are off in terms of the Swiss ranking system, so for the first 3 rounds, we prioritised that you guys wouldn't have matches inter-team, just to make sure that players who'd kind of flown up with their mates, like our crew from Melbourne and the guys from the north, that way they had less chance of having games against their best mates, so they play all the time. But now it is all about playing the most optimal Swiss matchups. We're going to see a lot of inter-team action, particularly as you'll notice there is one team right up the rankings, so you guys are going to have some pretty juicy matchups. Pretty excited to see Fiefdoms versus Radagast. So lots and lots of stuff going on. A huge thank you to our sponsors once again. Obviously Games Workshop Warhammer for our wonderful venue, Andrew Cox and Tournee, our wonderful tournament system, Weta Workshop for incredible prizes, full-scale conflict, and CreatEv Studios for chipping into our fantastic prize pool, which we get to hand out today. So I'm going to get into announcing the roundups, and we're going to get this guy underway. Let's hear it for Arda Unleashed, guys. So in the first round today, we've got our epic matchups well underway. First versus second, Pat Matriga and Ori are facing off each other. We've got Pat's gorgeous Rivendell Knights and Radagast, and of course Ori's wonderful fiefdom armies. They're both 4-zip at the moment. Ori is on 12, 12, 10, 12, 12 VPs, and Pat is on straight 12. So Pat is just nipping him in the moment in first, but Ori does have the VP difference. So a very, very important matchup. Over on top table number 2, we have our other 2 contenders who are both 4-zip, Jacob and Daniel Jones. We've got an epic Balrog Moria Horde versus Dan's incredible Army of the Dead. So that will be a confrontation to watch as that unfolds. And then on our third most important table, we've got Ryan Zalewski and Tom Ward with some epic Angmar versus Gondor action. And these guys are sitting in 5th and 6th with 3 wins and a loss and have a very, very good chance of striking up into the championship round. So some fantastic stuff unveiling over the course of this first section of the round, and we'll check in with these 3 matchups as the round progresses. So the lines have clashed here on our third top table. We've got some epic action as the Gondorian forces and the Angmar forces join each other, and we have an incredible matchup with the Witch King facing down Gandalf the White on horse, looking for some spicy action. Which big caster hero will come out on top? Only time will tell. Now we must bear in mind that of course Tom's got Aragorn pretty close, so he's going to try and get over there for sure. We'll see how it all unfolds, and we'll come back and check in. Well, the lines have clashed here on the top table. The Knights of Dol Amroth are leaping forward with those beautiful men-at-arms, and Pat's Knights are ready, bearing down upon them. They've got some serious hero-on-hero action by the look of it. Looks like Elrond on Imrahil, and a lot of those mounted Knights of Dol Amroth moving up Ori's right flank. So exciting stuff, exciting stuff. So that one will definitely be one to track as we start to see how that unfolds. And then over on our second top table, the Balrog and the Army of the Dead have clashed into each other, and we've got a big juicy series of combats forming up here. We've got some pretty major plays coming up. I mean, there could be some cheeky wounding against courage on that Balrog and the Cave Troll, so we'll certainly see how that unfolds as we move in towards the end of the round. But we're right in the middle of round 1 here at Arda Unleashed, and some really exciting stuff happening. So a major play has just unfolded here on table number 3. Aragorn has slain the Angmar Cave Troll and really taken control of the Angmar left flank, and the Witch King is still duking it out with Gandalf, and he's been joined by a couple of Citadel Guard as well. So the battle lines are certainly clashing, and that's a big win for Minas Tirith, but let's see how the rest of the battle unfolds throughout the rest of the round. There's only 55 minutes left, so we are right in the thick of it. So our top table game is coming right down to the wire. There's just over half an hour left, and it is extremely close. Pat's been trying to get off some really lethal Nature's Wraths, but Ori's been managing to get his resists and rolling a 6 on his resist roll regularly and earning the will back on his big heroes. We're just really managing to enable him to keep his army in the fight. You know, big cavalry horde as well as that infantry combined arms force. The Nature's Wrath could certainly be lethal, so it's probably going to come down to how much longer Ori can keep those Nature's Wraths at bay, and if he can do enough damage before Pat starts to get them off. But it is certainly coming right down to the wire. So our second top table game is extremely close as well. The Army of the Dead versus our Moria Goblins and Balrog. The Moria force is just 2 models away from breaking, and the Army of the Dead are 4 models, so very tight, but of course the Balrog is still in play, untouched, so if he manages to get a few quick kills and take out those 4 models, breaking could happen very quickly indeed. So very much down to the wire, and there is, just over half an hour left, so yes, we're getting very close with all of these tight games with very top players up at the top of the leaderboard. Well, there are a lot of Angmar corpses on this battlefield. However, the Witch King of Angmar is still holding out. Him and Gandalf have been duking it out for round after round, but Aragorn is now pretty deep in the Angmar deployment zone, and he's been wrecking face, so it looks like Minas Tirith might take it away, but never rule out the Witch King. He could certainly make some big plays. So we'll come back in and check on this one at the end of the round. Victory for Minas Tirith on top table number 3. A 8-2 to Tom in the end, but certainly closer than it looked. Who was your MVP, Tommy?
Aragorn ran insanely well. He was just chopping things. Heroic combating between spirits, killing Cave Troll, Barrow White, Shade, second Cave Troll, second Barrow White, and Orcs.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aragorn was certainly pretty key in negating the kind of big hitting factor, which is spirits and trolls. That probably proved a big struggle for you.
Yeah, look, Aragorn is Aragorn. He was going to do it, but unfortunately he burnt all his will to do it, but he just kept stopping every paralyze. That could have just been crucial, and it just went.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes that way. So MVP for you, Ryan?
Oh, the MVP is actually the Orcs.
Yeah, true.
While the spirits were dying, the Orcs killed so many Fountain Guard. So many 6s.
Good work, Orcs, on winning some of those tough fights. Well, lovely game, gentlemen. This was a pretty big, important one. So, Tommy, you're going to launch pretty high up into the rankings now, and you're certainly still in the top 8, Ryan, because you've had some great scores so far. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys go with the rest. Good luck with the last game. Our second top table match on top table number 2 has resolved, and it is a victory for the forces of Moria and the mighty Balrog. 5-3, Jacob?
Yeah, so 5-3 my way in the end there. It was very close.
Yeah, so went from a draw to a win for Jacob in the last turn, Dan.
Yeah, last turn, Rider of the Dead on an objective by himself. Courage 6, and he got Snake Eyes. Oh. So you can't do much with that.
Yeah, you certainly can't. That's absolutely brutal. And what about you, Jacob? What sort of won you the game?
So absolutely the Balrog having 12-inch immune to terror, or immune to courage on those goblins is fantastic. It's worth every point.
Yeah, such a huge fearless bubble, and against, Army of the Dead, that's such a hard balance.
Very helpful, yeah, definitely.
And I guess it's always kind of baffling to sort of, when you're facing a Balrog, it's like, what the hell do you do that with you? Do you try and focus on it, or do you try and let it go? What was your kind of tactic going in?
My tactic was basically just to avoid it. I had Aragorn with free might, so anytime he got close, I was just trying to heroic combat out, get rid of anything else nasty. But yeah, man, that Balrog's a beast. It's not just the combat; it's the hero, the courage buff, everything like that. He's really synergizes with the list well.
Did we get any whips off, Jacob?
We had in the first turn we had it set up so that if I got a whip, my Cave Troll, Bat Swam, Groblog, and the Balrog when they take out Aragorn. But it was a 50-50. I got a 1, so I can't be too upset about that. Would have been a fantastic way to start the game, though.
Well, we are certainly getting more and more likely to see a Balrog on top table. We'll see how this unfolds. You guys are still both in contention. The last round is going to be very important for both of you. Dan, you're going to need a big win because you're a bit low on VPs. And Jacob, you're sitting a little bit more likely now with the 5 wins. But certainly very likely for both these players on top table. Good luck, guys. Enjoy your last round. And we'll come back to you with the next matchup. The big one, our top table clash here in round 5 between the 2 giants of the tournament so far, Pat Matriga and Ori Smith, has resulted in a win to the fiefdoms. Radagast has fallen. Pat, what lost you the game, dude?
It was a really good game. The resisting on Nature's Wraths were huge. Ori played really well, played the objectives really well. It was just that damn point of will.
And I guess that'd be your MVP then, Ori?
Yeah, just my heroes. Getting those natural 6s. Probably 4 long. I think he got 2 or something with
that.
1 will. Natural 6s, just getting it back. And it was only your Nature's Rash that you got off at the end of the game, and it really didn't amount to anything at that point.
So I guess it was 9-1 was the final score? Yeah, right. Very, very close on the board.
Victory through death.
Yes, yeah. There is not a lot left on the board for you guys. It looks like absolute carnage. So a really well fought game and much closer on the board than it looks on the scoreline. But a very, very good chance of still seeing these 2 players in the championship round. Pat, you're going to need a big win in round 6.
I'll get it.
Yeah. Raddy's going to cook the mustard for you.
Come back. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, and Ori, good luck on your next round. We'll see you guys at the next round. So the 6th and final round of the Grand Tournament has gotten underway, and we have 5 players still in contention for getting into the championship round. It is incredibly clustered up the top of the leaderboard. Up in 1st and 2nd, we have Ori and Jacob Lucas, who are both undefeated at this point, and they're both sitting on 150 tournament points. But Ori has a big advantage because he's got a huge lead on everyone else in the field on VPs. So even if Ori wins, he's guaranteed to go through, but even if he loses, because his VPs are so good, we could see a rematch of Jacob and Ori for the championship round. It will all depend on how the other 3 players play. Next down, we have Pat Matriga and Tom Ward, who are both on 4 wins, and they're sitting on 120 tournament points. But the VPs are pretty close there. Pat's got 49 and Tommy's got 38. So they're still that way behind Ori, but they're still in the 2nd pecking order. And then the 5th player in for contention is Daniel Jones with his awesome Army of the Dead. He's going to need a big win, and the results up above are going to need to go his way, but it is mathematically possible for him to leap up and grab a place in the championship round with some VPs. So it's pretty exciting. It's going to be pretty epic to see how it unfolds. Let's go and check in with the top tables and see how the round's gotten underway. So the scenario for round 6 is Whole Ground, which of course has the Maelstrom of Battle deployment, and already it is wreaking havoc with some of our games. As you can see, the entire armies for both Pat and Tom have come in on the same board edge, all rolling fours. This game is going to get very spicy very quickly. We'll come back in and check in on them once they've gotten through the first couple of turns. In stark contrast to the deployment in Tom and Pat's board, we've got some really conventional battle lines over here with Jacob and Ori. The Maelstrom of Battle has essentially created a bit of a table court at deployment, really, and we've got a big horde of goblins and a Balrog charging down Ori's beautiful fiefdoms army. So it's looking like an interesting matchup. We're going to come and check on these guys as they get a bit deeper into the round. Here we are at the third top table where Daniel Jones's Army of the Dead is facing off against a Balrog, and another Balrog, poor Dan, and some more Moria Horde. And now this is Dan. He's got a good chance of placing if he plays really well here, and he's just had practice against a Balrog against Jacob's army last game, so hopefully he can pull the win and get himself up into contention. But I think Jacob's going to give him a good run for his money, as he is a great little Moria player. We'll see how this one unfolds throughout the round. Big clash on table 2 here with Radagast and some beautiful Rivendell Knights taking on Gondor. And Tommy, you took the victory.
I did. It's a bit bittersweet, but yeah, it ended with a 1 or 2 roll.
Yeah, brutal. And what cost you the game, Paddy?
Rolling a 1.
Rolling a 1.
I killed the general, got them all broken. Haven't lost anyone. I lost 1. Rolled the 1, the game ended before I could move into the objective.
Right. Playing those objectives, Tom, obviously Radagast is terrifying and he's all the way over here. I mean, how many models did you end up losing?
I just broken this turn, but I guess the thing that hurt you always play together in a unit, and then because he's in a heroic move, he couldn't let anyone escape. So the thing that was hurting was Pat was he couldn't play the objective to break my force. If he split them up, he probably would have started dying off with my hero, so he played how he did to play, but I guess I'm just lucky that those guys I put on the other side instead of joining in. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it looks like a really good close game, which is what we want to see at the top table. So good game, guys. And now, well, I mean, Tom, you're going to jump up the leaderboards now. It's all going to depend on how the other games unfold. Pat still definitely has a chance because he's got a really nice, juicy score up on the top at the moment. So, yeah, should be very close. Good luck, guys. We'll see how it pans out. We might be seeing one of you or 2 of you in the championship round. So here on our third in contention matchup with Daniel Jones against Jacob Wright, not a lot has happened. Both armies have pushed up into the center of the board, but we've got quite a bit of fluffed combats. A lot of models are still on the board. Their forces are relatively intact. Dan has moved up on that central objective with his big high defense, so that's going to be quite difficult for Jacob to push off. The Balrog is probably going to have to do a fair amount of the heavy lifting to retake that central objective, but both forces are pretty good. Jacob's lost a Prowler and a couple of Goblins, and Dan's lost a smattering of Warriors, but one pretty full strength, pretty tight. This game's definitely going to go all the way down to the wire as these forces really start to dig into those combats, so we'll come back and check it out a bit closer to the end of the round. So your second game against a Balrog in a row, Dan, did you go any better this time?
I did, yes. Yeah, I got the win this time. Again, I avoided the Balrog the entire game, which seems to be a pretty good tactic with this army.
And the Army of the Dead just decided to turn up today.
Yeah, man. We're winning on Courage. Courage 1 with Goblins with King of the Dead's Harbinger rule. So very powerful, very powerful.
Did you manage to kind of get Jacob's force a bit more separated, I guess, due to the deployment to keep them out of the fearless bubble?
No, they pretty much deployed all in one section of the force, and he kept it together really well.
Yeah, well, nicely done, man, but bad luck today. How'd it go for you?
No, it was good. It was a good game. It was a really nice game, but the Balrog just couldn't do enough to. And that Army of the Dead defense 8.
Yeah.
6s and 4s wasn't working for me.
Yeah, I noticed Dan got on that central objective really early, and it was definitely up to the Balrog to push him off, but he just couldn't do it today.
Not today, no.
All right, well, that's bad luck, but good game, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Your final round here at Arda Unleashed, and depending how the results go, Dan, you've got a sliver of a mathematical chance to make it to 2 top table. We'll see how the final matchup goes.
He's my friend.
Yes, exactly. All right, thank you so much, guys. We'll be back with the next matchup. Here on our top table clash, things are really grinding down to the last. The Balrog is right on that central objective, but Orion's absolutely swamped with Swamp Knights. So it's going to go right down to the wire. There's still a lot of dilemma on the board. There's a lot of Warrior Goblins off on Jacob's right flank. Whether Orion not can hold them there with his few kind of dilemma Knights on that flank. He's also got a Cave Troll and a Bat Swarm to deal with over there too. So it is pretty spicy at the moment, and it is going to make for a pretty thrilling finish as the clock counts down.
Strike on the 1D.
Shield spear.
Couldn't get any tighter here in round 6 of Arda Unleashed. The final round between these two players on top table is a draw at 4 VPs each. That was brutal, Ori. How did it feel?
Exhausting. Exhausting.
Exhausting? What was the big play for you, Jacob?
Well, that last turn was the turn of the tournament for me. Got Imrahil, managed to kill enough guys to break him, just to sneak into that draw.
Yeah, fantastic. That Imrahil kill points in the break, but Ori still had a stack of points around the objective, which was lucky. Jacob was killing those guys off as well. It was 13-11 in the scoring zone, I think, so very, very close, very much on a knife edge. And that is a draw for you guys, putting you on 160 tournament points each, which will send you both through to the championship round for a rematch. So we will brace ourselves, do all the final reckoning and prize calculations, and come back for the Arda Unleashed championship round. So some epic matchups in rounds 5 and 6, and a pretty amazing finish to the main body of the grand tournament, with the championship round shaping up to be an incredible rematch between Ori and Jacob to fight it out for the title of Arda Unleashed Grand Champion. But that winds up all of our Arda Unleashed vlog coverage for now, because we're going to switch it up into full battle report mode for the Arda Unleashed championship round. We've got 5 cameras, full commentary. It's going to be super awesome. So I'll link that video up there for you guys so you can jump straight on in and watch that. But from us here at Arda Unleashed, it's bye for now. We'll see you next time.